Mel Kiper mock draft reaction. We're going to be breaking down all of his picks in the first 2 rounds, and I'm going to be telling you who the biggest winners and losers are in the first and second round. Now, today's show is possible by my good friends Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products on the market. And if you want to go try my favorite product, it's the Lawnmower 3.0. How do you try it? Go to the link, see the deal, 20% off and free shipping. So we're going to be moving through this bad boy pretty quick. Kyle Pitts taking number 4. The Miami Dolphins decided to trade up, which I thought was kind of a weird move by Mel, especially when you consider the fact that at pick number 6, the Atlanta Falcons, that is, decided to take a quarterback. Like, if you're at 4, you just take the quarterback. Justin Fields, he falls to number 10. The New England Patriots, they trade up for him, which basically means 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 10 picks. So who did the Cowboys end up getting? They ended up getting Jaycee Horn, which I thought was pretty good value there. Also, 3 offensive linemen gone by pick number 14, which probably put the Raiders here in a difficult position, going with Elijah Vera-Tucker at the offensive line. The Bears, they get some solid value there in Tevin Jenkins. And then when you look at some of the other picks here, like Jalen Phillips, Elijah Moore, pretty interesting picks there. Greg Newsome, another interesting pick. Najee Harris, the first running back off the board of Mel Kiper's mock draft, goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers because, well, James Conner, he ended up just signing with Arizona. Trevon Merrick, the top safety, he goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Zaven Collins fills a major need. The Baltimore Ravens, they're like, all right, how can I get more talent around Lamar Jackson? Cool. And then the last 4 picks here of the first round, Bateman, Azeez Ojulari, Jason Owe, and Christian Barmore. So what we're going to be doing here on today's show is we're going to be talking about the biggest winners and the biggest losers in Mel Kiper's mock draft in round 1. So what do you guys think? Before I give you my 3 biggest winners, who is the biggest round 1 winner in Mel Kiper's mock draft? I want you to go down in the comments, and I want you to let me know. Be honest with me. The biggest winner in round 1. If you want to give me the team, cool. If you want to give me a player, cool. I'm going to let you know the biggest winners coming up right now. So I'm going to first kick it off here with Rashawn Slater. I think the Chargers are a clear winner here. You're able to fill a major need at, well, offensive line. You're also able to keep your quarterback upright. Slater is slotted as a tackle. I also think he can play a little bit of guard. There's a lot of people out there that think that Slater could actually go ahead of a guy like Penei Sewell. I'm not in that boat, but the fact that you were able to get Slater at 13, not having to trade up for an offensive lineman, is something that I would be really ecstatic about. Plus, you can upgrade here. Like, if you want to upgrade at left guard, cool. If you want to upgrade at left tackle, you're able to do that. You can protect his blind side, especially when you already went out. You added Filer, you added Lindsey, and Bulaga also sitting there at right tackle. The next winner here is the Dallas Cowboys. You're able to add some extra draft capital, plus you're able to get one of the top cornerbacks out there. If I'm Dallas, I'm like, okay, either I wanted Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley when the draft process started. Now, Jaycee Horn out of South Carolina is a player that I am pretty confident is going to be solid. So New England, they wanted to go up and get Justin Fields in this mock draft. That's why they traded up to pick number 10. For Dallas, now you have an extra first-round pick in 2022. Now, sure, you didn't get a pick this year, but you're getting an extra first-round pick next year. And let's just say Justin Fields is an absolute bust. New England's pick could actually be worth quite a bit. So for the Dallas Cowboys, you get a solid cornerback who, let's face it, he's going to be an instant starter there on that defense. Sure, he's got some tackling issues, but a pretty solid coverage guy from top to bottom. And his dad, Joe Horn, so he's got some maybe experience. At least he knows what he's going to be set for, which I do think is important, especially considering the fact that any young players going to Dallas, you need to be able to be ready to rock and roll. So Jaycee Horn, he's a winner going to Dallas, and I also think the Cowboys are as well. The next winner here is, I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. One of their biggest needs is linebacker, and it might actually be the biggest need. So you go out, you get Zaven Collins, who can do a lot of different things for your team. He won Defensive Player of the Year award last year in college football. He can cover. He can go after and get the quarterback. 52 tackles last season, 4 interceptions, also 4 sacks as well. So when you look at the biggest needs, I have linebacker up there. And cornerback, he's not a corner, but he does at least add a little bit of coverage ability. But it's the 54 tackles. It's the 7.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 4 picks, 2 pass breakups. I mean, anytime you can find a player who won Defensive Player of the Year at Tulsa, that's definitely pretty noteworthy there. So out of my top 3 biggest winners, again, it is Rashawn Slater, the Chargers, the Dallas Cowboys, and it's the New Orleans Saints. But anytime you got winners, you have losers as well. So we're going to be breaking down the biggest losers here in a sec, but I want to know from Mel Kiper's mock draft in the first round, who's the biggest round one loser? Go down in the comments and let me know. I'm going to be breaking down my biggest losers, but before I tell you my biggest loser, guess what? I don't want you to be a loser. Go ahead and get the Lawnmower 3.0 at Manscaped. How do you get it? Manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. Now, football, game of inches, right? When you end up trimming your downstairs, it looks like it's an extra inch. Like whether you're going from, your normal size to that extra inch, that matters a lot. The Lawnmower 3.0, it's got the 8-hour battery life. It's got a nice little light at the end of the razor so you can see what you're doing. And it's waterproof, so you can use this bad boy in the shower. I use this thing probably once, maybe twice a week to really keep things super clean down there. Also the changeable blades, so you don't have to use the same thing on your face. Manscaped has unbelievable products. There's a reason why their slogan is that we save balls. Your balls will thank you. I promise if you use Manscaped products, your balls will thank you. Your girlfriend will too. Maybe it's your wife. I don't know. Manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products. So in Mel Kiper's mock draft, my first loser I have is the San Francisco 49ers. If you draft Mac Jones after trading up all that, I'm just going to say it simple. You're a loser because you're giving up all that draft capital for a player that I don't really know if he's anything too much different from Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, is he my number 5 quarterback prospect? Yes, he is, but I'd rather have Justin Fields. I'd rather have Trey Lance. And when I really think about overall players and talent, I mean, there's some people that don't even have him slated as a true round 1 type of prospect. That's not saying he's not going to go in round 1. It's just simply saying he's not a round 1 type of prospect. Now, I get it. Kyle Shanahan, he wants to be ballsy here. He wants to go up and get his guy. I just don't think it's a smart move to do. So that's why I have the 49ers here as a loser. The next loser in this mock draft, it's the Miami Dolphins for the simple fact of this, and I actually might say, Mel, I think you're a loser for even thinking this is a possibility, or why would Miami do this? Like, if you're sitting there at 6, why would you trade up to number 4? But also, why would Atlanta accept this trade? Because they end up just taking a quarterback anyway. Like, if there's a quarterback that you want, you just take the QB. So, for the Falcons, they get a first-round pick, so you swap first, a second-round pick in 2022, and a third-round pick in 2022. Like, I'm not saying that it's a crazy trade idea. I'm simply saying that I don't see why Miami was at pick 3, would trade down to pick 12, go back up to number 6, then to go back up to number 4. That I don't think is going to happen. All right, the last loser here in the first round, I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders, Elijah Vera-Tucker. He's a talent offensive lineman. However, Elijah Vera-Tucker is either going to play left tackle or left guard. With that being said, that doesn't make any sense for the Raiders. You decided to bring back Richie Incognito, who is going to start at left guard. He's not going to start over Colton Miller, who just signed a great old contract extension. And for the Raiders, you need a right tackle. Now, you want to be able to put Denzel Good at right guard, and that way John Simpson can drop back. And all I'm saying is this, Elijah Vera-Tucker, he is a good lineman. I don't want to take anything away from him. But for Mel Kiper to think that Tucker to the Raiders at 17 makes sense, that's where I'm just going to simply disagree. So for this scenario, my biggest losers are the 49ers, the Miami Dolphins, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, if you guys want the best chat sports coverage, subscribe. If you want the best draft coverage, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that big red button. I promise you, you will not find another channel that's able to keep you guys up to date on all things going on around free agency, around the NFL draft. And as I've stated 100 times, I think, on this show, we will once again be the most watched draft coverage. We get the draft picks before you see them on TV, before you see them on ESPN, wherever you guys might have watched them. We will have the picks first. And actually, sometimes we're like 3 or 4 picks ahead of what you see on TV. So be in the know, hit that big red button, and go ahead and subscribe. All right, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to say Richie Grant, safety from UCF. It's a great fit for him because he's going to be a starter for the Raiders. It's also a great move here for the Las Vegas Raiders because you need to be able to have that true free safety. That's what you're going to get here in Grant, and everything that he's shown at UCF makes me believe that he would be a great fit in this Gus Bradley system. Now, you'd also have him start over a guy like Jeff Heath. You'd also have him start over a guy like a Carl Joseph as well. Now, sure, you also got Nevin Lawson, who suspended the first 2 weeks, but this is a win for Richie Grant. It's also a big-time win for a player like, well, the Las Vegas Raiders. The next winner here is Samuel Cosmi and the Indianapolis Colts. Probably one of the biggest needs here for Indy is finding a good offensive tackle, and especially one that you can rely on to help be able to protect Carson Wentz. So at offensive tackle, Cosmi, he is one of my top 5 OTs, and the fact that you're able to get him in the second round at pick number 54, that's good value. And then you also got to look at this. They're able to get Jalen Phillips in round 1. You're able to get Samuel Cosmi in round 2. So that, for me, that's my top edge rusher and a top 5 offensive tackle. For Indy, that's pretty good. Now, Cosmi, when you really look at all these other players, like Jenkins, he went like early, he went in the first round. I'm trying to think exactly where he went. But then out of all the other tackles, like that's 30 picks essentially. So Jenkins went 20th overall. All those guys go in the top 20. Cosmi falls all the way to 54. That's great value. The next player we're going to be bringing up here is Rondale Moore. It's a win for him. It's also a win for New Orleans because I think a player like Moore would fit great with what Sean Payton is able to do. Sean Payton is one of the most creative, offensive-minded coaches in the league, and for a player like Moore, who's sure, he's undersized, you can't deny this man's ability, though. You can't deny his athletic ability in terms of making plays happen. And for New Orleans, guess what? You're going to have to make some plays happen because I'm not the biggest believer in a Taysom Hill. I'm not the biggest believer in a Jameis Winston. So if you have some playmakers around the football field, it's going to help you out a lot. So who's the biggest round 2 loser? I want you to spam in the comments section below. If you want to spam us, hey, go ahead and do so. I don't blame you there. And as a reminder, today's show is presented by Manscaped. Manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. So who do y'all think is the biggest round 2 losers? I'm going to go with Hunter Long because, not Hunter Long, I'm going to go with the Jags. And it's simply because of this. Is tight end a need for this team? Yes, absolutely. But in this mock, they passed on Pat Freiermuth, who I'd much rather have, Brevin Jordan, and Tommy Treble. Like, no disrespect to Long. He's not a player in my top 100. He's not a player that I actually would take in the first 3 rounds. So the fact that he's going 45 overall here to the Jacksonville Jaguars, that makes Jacksonville a loser. The next loser here is Amari Rodgers, and it's really has nothing to do with Amari. It has everything to do with New England. New England has not done a very good job developing young receivers in the draft. I mean, you can't deny that. Like, this has actually been one of the biggest eyesores Bill Belichick has done in terms of, like, you think that, okay, he's got all this talent. He's always had Tom Brady. They really have not been able to draft wide receivers, and I get that Amari's coming off a good year. He also had the ability to get a lot more playing time due to some injuries around him. So, Amari, I hope the best for you, but I don't think it would end up being in New England. The last biggest loser here is the Chicago Bears going with Anthony Schwartz. I get it. He's super fast. You just lost Cordell Patterson as well. So, you want to be able to try to get somebody that can maybe kick return. Here's the issue. Schwartz has never really shown the ability to be a punt return or kick return. At least that's not how he was used at Auburn. And I've gone through a lot of mock drafts. I've talked to a lot of people. There's not really anybody that I've seen that thinks Schwartz is going to go in the top 3 rounds. Heck, I don't even know if he's going to go in the top 4 rounds. You can't deny the speed. But if you're trying to just fix what you're losing in Cordell Patterson, you're just trying to fix what you might lose in Anthony Miller with Anthony Schwartz, I think you're going to be really disappointed. So my biggest round 2 losers are this: Hunter Long, Amari Rodgers, and Anthony Schwartz. And if you guys disagree with me, please go ahead and do so. Let me know down in the comments section. If you want to give Chat Sports a follow on Twitter, we are at Chat Sports.